Hello and welcome, it's Kath Stancheshin here with a new daytime show. Let's talk now about something that, it really piqued my interest, I've got to say, because I've never heard anything like it before. A new children's book has been launched aimed at, obviously, under 18s, younger people, to warn about the dangers of loan sharks. Amsty Meets Mr. Loan Shark is a story about an old computer living in a Birmingham library who's on a mission to help his friends learn about the dangers of the practice, and he comes up with a plan to prevent his friend Hassan from falling into a trap with an illegal lender. The authors are Hafshah Dabdi Sheikh and Salim Sheikh from Get Families Talking in Borsall Heath, and they join me on the line now. Hi, both of you.
Hi, good morning, Kath.
Hi, Kath.
Good morning, good afternoon. Only just, I always get caught out with that.
Just, yes.
So, tell us a little bit about how this came about, because you two are from an organisation that actually works very closely with communities anyway. But why do this about loan sharks?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Kath, and our listeners out there, so one of the main reasons why we wrote this short story, and just to give you a little bit of backstory on this, our organisation is called Get Families Talking. And really, it should be have an addition to it. It should be Get Families Reading as well, because that's our primary aim in this. With Get Families Talking, we're trying to introduce different concepts, just like you are on your show, for families to go away, think about, and hopefully start a discussion with. So when Amsty came about, listeners of a certain age will probably recognise Amsty, but we were really, really keen on developing families' language and vocabulary around the digital world. So we wrote our first book was about Amsty Gets Online, and we very closely followed that up with Amsty Meets Mr. Loan Shark. This is a very real problem and a real concern for families, not just in Birmingham and the area that we work in, but nationally this is a problem. And we really, really desperately wanted to highlight that loan sharks are changing their tactics. They are going online, and we wanted families to be aware of this. We wanted families to go away to read a book together, to learn the vocabulary from it, and more importantly, to discuss it. That's what the whole aim behind the book was.
Is it something then that you're seeing, Salim, more often in Borsall Heath in Birmingham? Is this something that is a big problem?
Yes, it is, Kath, and it's a rising problem. Borsall Heath has got many challenges, and one of the challenges that we've actually found is that, and this was prior to COVID, that the literacy rates amongst adults is very, very poor. So 1 in 3 adults within Borsall Heath have a very, very low literacy rate. Now, if you compare that nationally, it's about 1 in 6. Now, we know over the period of COVID over the last 2 years, those rates with many of the communities we deal with have dropped. Now, when you've got low literacy, it impacts on many other areas, such as, for example, your digital skills are going to get affected. If you don't have the right digital skills, you won't be able to start getting online, looking for offers that are available online, looking at the way the world is changing by just being online. And so it impacts people and their lives. And then when you combine low literacy and low digital skills, it naturally impacts on the financial well-being of that individual and that family. So we are seeing it quite active within this area, and unfortunately it's across many other areas within Birmingham as well.
Yeah, and I suppose the best way of trying to get messages across is in this form, in terms, it's not just for children, it's for adults as well, that form of storytelling, of giving an example of something, of putting the message out there. Is it illustrated as well? Has it got lovely pictures? I mean, it's just a great way of introducing that topic, isn't it?
It is actually, it's more than illustrated. The book is fully illustrated with colours, but we've gone one step beyond that. So people who are familiar with Borsall Heath, when they see this book, will immediately have that empathy and engagement with it. Before the book started, we actually took stills with our cameras of the street scene, we were inside the library. And if you've not seen Balsall Heath Library, it's a beautiful Victorian library. And we took 3D images of the whole layout, where the computers were, where the desks were, what type of chairs, what type of arch windows they got. And we then illustrated that within the book. So when people read it, they will actually relate to the book and the library. And we've had a number of people in schools, teachers, who said that they've read the book, and then the children, their own children, they brought them down to the library just so that they can actually show that, look, this is the library, this is where Amsty lives.
And
so there's a real affinity there.
Yeah, and a real resonance, and that when you can see something that relates to you, obviously sinks in. And Hafsha, this is a no-brainer. It's a schools thing. You want? I mean, is this out in schools because you do want children to access this more widely? How are they accessing this book?
Oh, absolutely. So, due to the generosity of the England illegal money lending team, we've actually been able to get this book into all the libraries in Birmingham. And that's been funded by proceeds of crime money as well, which is quite amusing when you think that this is actually the money that has come from the loan sharks themselves. And they funded for this book to actually go into all the libraries in Birmingham. So, yes, please go out there and pick that up. But in addition to that, we've had a number of schools who have purchased this. The book is available for purchase from Amazon, and a number of schools have already purchased this for their children. And when I say it's children, for us, it is families, because this book will be taken home, and it will be families learning together about loan sharks. As you said, Kath, so many people still don't know what a loan shark is. And this is simply another engaging way of being able to get that message out to families.
And it's a fascinating idea as well. I mean, it's difficult, I suppose, for you to measure success with this, or what success looks like, because it's difficult to know exactly who's been prevented from, or who's learned, or who's had their awareness raised. But I mean, it is something that I suppose you're working with other organisations as well. This is the kind of thing that will make a big difference.
Yeah, absolutely. We want to get the message out far and wide. And it's not just about the book. As I say, this is only one way of getting that message out. But the message, and for us, success would be that people don't know who loan sharks are because they don't exist. You know, there are so many better ways of being able to borrow money and for people to manage their finances better. And we want people and families to be able to do that. And to be honest with you, Kath, I mean, yesterday we had a really lovely moment. We were at a book launch, we read the book, and to a school and a group of children. And one of the child, he turned around, and it was part of a discussion about loan sharks. And he said he was worried about the gas bill that was going to come shortly. But then he's also said if people are worried, then they need to dial and speak to someone at the National England illegal money lending team. And next thing you know, he just recited the telephone number. And I thought, oh my goodness, you know, this is brilliant. This is what we want. You know, we want the little ones to know this number so they can tell their parents.
And I know Mr. Loan Shark meets Amsty, and we take it all ends well in the end. And Amsty realises he shouldn't be borrowing money there. I'm sure there's a happy ending in there as well.
Yes, of course there is. So Hassan is made aware that actually there are better ways of borrowing money, and he's going to start saving up the money for the game. So yes, Amsty, as always, flies in and saves the day.
Oh, it's brilliant.
He's always the winner. He's always the winner.
He's always the winner, of course. That is the message. That is the parable, and we love it. Absolutely love it. Thank you so much for talking to us both. Good luck with it.
Thank you very much,
Thank you. That is authors Hafsha Dadabi Sheikh and Salim Sheikh from Get Families talking in Balsall Heath. They are discussing their new children's book, Amsty Meets Mr. Loan Shark, which is obviously a story to try and help children learn about illegal lenders and loan sharks. And if you do need any more information in general, if you're listening to this thinking, well, I could do with some help with this as well, then you can go to www.stoploansharks.co.uk for free advice there. Also the 24-hour helpline 0300 555 2222 0300 555 2222. Thanks very much to both authors for coming on and talking about this really interesting project.
BBC Radio WM Breakfast.